Hello and welcome to another episode of All Things Real Estate. And as always, I am your host, Kyle Seyboth, with Century 21, serving Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut. We have offices put all over the place throughout those three states. And we are always looking to help people buy and sell real estate. More importantly on the show, looking to add value and give the people that are watching, the folks that are watching at home, some value that they can bring to the table so that they know more and more about real estate each and every week. So today, unlike any other week, I have a special guest. I'll let this gentleman introduce himself. And your name, sir?
Hello, everyone. I'm Mike Plummer with Main Street Home Loans. I'm a lender servicing Rhode Island, Mass, and as well as Connecticut.
So, Michael.
Mike's fine.
Mike, okay. I know a lot of people, they were Mike until they're 20 and then they want to be Michael. So I just want to make sure I didn't insult you.
All good.
All right, so you are a lender.
Correct.
Main Street Home Loans. Before that, you were with First Home, right?
First Home Mortgage, yep.
First Home Mortgage. And now, being a lender with Main Street, what is, in your opinion, the best part of your job? What do you like the best?
I mean, the best part of the job and the reason I get into lending is because I get to deal with the end client, who is most of the time a family. A lot of times they're first-time home buyers, and I get to see the smile put on their face by putting them in the home. Mm-hmm. So by being able to help the public achieve, the American dream or a lifelong dream of obtaining home ownership is by far the greatest satisfaction that I get out of my job.
Okay. So your why is very similar to mine. The reason I got into this was twofold. Number one, I have a passion for real estate. I don't know why, I just love it. For whatever it is, I enjoy it every day. I like to do it all the time. There's so many aspects of it, I enjoy it. But number two, I love to help people fulfill their American dream. Whether they're buying and it's the dream of actually buying their first home, whether they're selling and they're selling a piece of property that's been in the family forever, or they're investors. So I can totally relate to kind of your why, what you're doing it for. How long have you been doing this?
So I've been doing this about 4.5 years now.
What were you doing before?
So previous to that, my second why would be I was always a financial guy. So I started taking accounting classes, I think 9th grade in high school, went an accounting major at URI, and then I worked at Fidelity for 11 years as a wholesaler. So I've always been in the financial world. So when I realized I could help the end client achieve that goal, but also work towards my passion and what I enjoy, it obviously just was an absolute no-brainer.
Awesome. So finance background, love for helping people, understanding of numbers, right? Understanding of what that looks like. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? And then what changes do you see happen in the business in the next, are there any major disruptors that you see on the horizon that can change the game like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So in 5 years, my goal is hope to be a producing manager. One of the reasons is because if I can help other loan officers help more families, I can even extend my reach even more. Mm-hmm. So I love teaching all of the new loan officers in our branch the best ways to get loans done, what products are best for the client, and continue to grow my team. So maybe it's adding another assistant or a processor so that way I can help more families in the region. The biggest disruptors right now are the online, I don't want to call them gimmicks, but they kind of are what they are. Everyone thinks that lender A and lender B and lender C are all the same. And what they don't understand is that the value that we bring as being a local lender. So, every once in a while you will get that person that's going to say, well, I'm going to use a Zillow or a Quicken or a Rocket or whatever it happens to be. And then because they might have a little bit lower rate, but at the end of the day, the transaction doesn't go as planned. And I'm sure you've seen that a lot throughout your career.
Yeah, I think that. So for me, I will always refer a client to a local lender because I think the ability for the buyer to sit down with someone, see, feel, touch, smell, understand, be in the same room as, punch in the face if it gets really bad. Seriously, those things are so valuable. Let's think about how many times people really buy houses. Not very often.
Few times in their life.
They don't do this all the time. They need someone on the loan side explain the process of the loan, figure out how to get me from A to Z, and to get me from A to Z, right, what that looks like at the end of the day, right? How do I, as a buyer, get comfortable? Well, I'm not comfortable with the guy in Ohio who's picking the phone up and just telling me, like, I just had a deal, matter of fact, with Veterans United. USAA, is that the same thing?
Similar. Yeah, similar.
So Veterans United, USAA, hey, I'm all for the VA loan. I think the VA loans are fantastic. And I said to the buyer when we got started, I said, this is going to be a disaster. I said, this is going to be a disaster. No, their rate was, I'm like, listen to me now. If you don't switch to a localized lender, this is going to be a nightmare. No. USAA got the best quotes or whatever the hell they had. Cool, fine, we did it. 40 days in, no commitment letter, no appraisal back, still asking for docs, can't get a hold of the person. They got extensions that don't answer. There's a person in between. They had to switch the loan from the national organization, right? They had to switch it to a company here locally, and the guy closed in 2 weeks. He took all the docs from the USAA, he closed in 2 weeks. He did the girl a favor, it was her dad's friend or whatever. But my point is, like, why put yourself through that?
That's
They're
the value
calling
of
me
a
every day
lender.
complaining about the guy. I'm like, you picked him. You guys wanted this guy. Like, you were all about it. So at the end of the day, be careful what you sign up for. Bait and switch is real.
And that's what I explain to clients all the time is that, they may say that they have no fees or whatever the situation is. However, unless you have 800 credit, make a ton of money, have no debts, and have a lot of money in the bank, that's the perfect scenario. That's 1% of people out
Correct.
there. The other 99 have, maybe some sort of credit dings, their debt to income ratios are high, debt obligations outstanding, collections account, new jobs, self-employed, things that don't just fit in this easy box that you can just put in and shove through the system. So that's why when you're sitting down or talking with somebody that's local and has all of their processes right in the house, their underwriters, their closers, their processors, it can be just so much more of a smooth process. And it's such a stressful process for the buyer and for the seller. So you want to make that as easy as possible on all ends if you can.
And that consultation, that first consultation that gets done, that's where, and this is, look, I tell clients this all the time. Look, I'm not for everyone. You're not for everyone. Everyone's not for everyone. People are going to mesh differently. People are going to get along differently. But that initial consultation, when you sit down with a lender in person, you should leave there saying yay or nay. Yes, this person's a good fit. No, this really isn't a good fit. Nice guy, nice gal, but it's not going to work for what we're looking to do. When you're talking to somebody on the phone, you have no idea. You have absolutely no idea. You don't know this person. Hey, let's say we need a document collected. This person, this lender locally, send someone to go pick it up. You're faxing it into no man's land. You don't even know if they get it.
Yep.
You're emailing it to no man's land. You don't know when they get it. So there's a huge value in localizing the lending process for a buyer. Now, if you're a buyer who does this all the time and you buy and sell, whatever. You want to use Quicken, cool. You want to use whatever, fine, whatever. That's all good. But if you need that hand-holding, if you need someone to give you some advice, if you need some help, I would highly suggest that you use a localized lender.
Absolutely. It's amazing how many times I get, and actually just this week, somebody will talk to a Quicken and online, or even maybe a regional lender, and then they'll talk with me and they'll say, this conversation was more useful than the 6 conversations I had with the other previous individual.
Right.
Because of the fact that the detail orientedness, the knowing the different markets around here, because I live in these markets, and just the information that I give on that consultation. So it's just to back up your point.
Yeah, I think with that, we've got not a lot of time left, but with that, I think, and I just want to ask you quick, this market right now that we're in is very difficult for buyers. We were talking about it offset, and I think that difficultiness will not stop anytime soon, but hopefully at some point we can eliminate buyer fatigue, we can eliminate buyer frustration, and we can get back to a level where these buyers have some sort of leverage and they're actually able, at the end of the day, to make it work, to make ends meet, to get a property, and to feel comfortable. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you mentioned you had a buyer that you've been working with for 2 years, and I have similar stories.
Tons of
and
them.
yeah, and it's sad for those buyers, but I do think that we're going to be seeing better things coming on the horizon. As you see the listings, there seems to be more and more every week. There's still not the levels we need to have kind of at least a neutral market. Some of the buyers do seem to be tending to back out because they do have the buyer fatigue. And from a lending standpoint, our rules and regulations are getting more strict and more strict, so it is taking some of the buyers out. So the goal is hopefully by some point early to mid next year that we do have more of a neutral market, because it's not healthy for it to be completely one-sided,
No.
particularly for how long it has been. So I'm hoping and seeing that in the next year or so that hopefully we get to more of a neutral market.
I think it's a year too, probably next summer.
Absolutely.
I think it's gonna ride like this. But I think that right there, guys, if you watch the show, you follow us, you listen, I think that advice right there is super valuable, and I thank you for coming on. We appreciate it. If you need a local lender, reach out to Mike. He's here, he's local, and he can help. Guys, everyone have a great week. We will see you very soon.
Thank you for having me.
No problem, sir.